So very good afternoon all. In the last section, we have discussed about what is the syllabus related to the computer organization, what are the basic objectives of the subject, and what is the importance of the subject, and what are the outcomes related to the objectives what you have mentioned. All these concepts are already we discussed in the last class, and also we have seen what are the important topics in the each and every chapter, as well as what are the important topics in which are related to our academics as well as our career. Now, for this today's section, we are going to discuss about some basics related to the computer structures or computer organization. And I'm not starting the that is the syllabus at present. Just I'm having some. I want to say some basics regarding these computers, and later on I will start the unit one. Now let us see what is the agendas for the today's concept. And please come to my agenda. Now we are going to discuss these topics in this today's section. That is, what is computer, what is the history of the computer, what is the architecture of the computer, what is a processor, and later on we'll discuss about what is hardware, what is input, and what is output. And by completing all these topics, we can have some basic knowledge regarding the computers. Already we are known from childhood onwards what is a computer and what it does, but we will see what is the internal operations a computer is performing, and later on we'll see what is the history behind the development of the computer, and we will see what is the architecture we are using in the computers, and the other components as follows. And let us start with our topic, that is what is meant by a computer. And here let us see what is meant by a computer system in a brief. A computer system, or a introduction to the computer sector or independent computers. A basic computer can be having a similar definition called what is called a computer, in the sense it's an electronic device. Already we are known for every quiz questions, or for any time if a person is asking what is a computer, we will say it's an electronic machine. Along with the electronic machine, what a computer will do, a computer is used to manipulate the data. What's called data manipulation? That is nothing but addition or adding the data, new data, or changing the already existed data, or deleting the data, etc. All these operations can be called as a data manipulations. So these data manipulations can be done with the help of the computer based upon the instructions what the instructions we can given to it. So what is called an instruction? So instruction is nothing but it's a command or an operation or a task which is to do, or which is to be done by the computer, what the user is going to, or what the user is willing to perform on it. So we can say an instruction can be a set of actions or a set of operations which are used to perform the basic task for the computer. So let us see the exact definition of a computer. So with the other format, that's called a computer, a mechanism or a system which is also called as a electronic processing device. So what is called processing, or what is called electronic processing device? So let us see a structure here that is called an input, process, storage, and output. So what is called input, and what is called processing, and what is called storing, and what is called outputting? So here, when it called as computer as a electronic processing device, so we will take the data, or we will take the input in the form of an electronic hardware component which is called as input unit, and change that input device or input units to the processing element. That's simply called as a CPU. CPU stands for central processing unit. Once the data is received from the input unit to the central processing unit, it is used to manage the data. Managing in the sense sending the data into the storage element, and after storing the data into the storage element, it used to do some access, or it will do some processing. Once the processing is done by the CPU, again the processing output is also to be stored into the storage component, and finally we will get the that storage output into the output screens. So here the storage component will sell it as a RAM, and the output components can be split as a screens for the screens or the printers. So this is a simple structure of a computer: input, processing, output, and storage. So let us see with a sample example which is also related to a computer, which says that how a computer works. Let us take example of a bike. So a bike is having a fuel tank, and once the fuel is given to the bike, so it is stored into the fuel tank, and it has an engine, and which generates an output that's called smoke. So let us take with our computer example. So we will take input as a fuel, and storage as a fuel tank, and processing as an engine. So we will get output in the form of smoke. So this is an example of a computer system. And now let us see whether a computer is an automatic or not. So what is called automatic? So automatic in the sense, so which can do its action by its own. But can we say a computer is an automatic? No, a computer does not takes or does not do its action its own. It was totally depending upon a human person or human being. So it follows set of instructions which is given by the human. So no, it does not do any automation for operations. So the user want to give the input. The task of the computer is it only execute the recorded instructions what it is getting from the user or what it is getting from the respective human operation element. So it is called a non-atomic or automatic system. A computer is not a automatic system. Now let us go for the advantages and disadvantages in the computer system. So coming to the advantages, we are having different advantages to the computers. One is the high speed. So what is called high speed? So high speed in the sense, a computer can perform the instructions in a less time with a high capability, with a high memory management. It can do a large number of operations or a large number of tasks with a low time or low interval. And coming to the other advantage, the other advantage is the storage. So what is called storage? A storage in the sense storing all the data which is related to the operations or the set of actions to be performed in the computer. So this storage of data can be have in the form of a multimedia component, a textual component, or any audio video format. So all this type of data can be stored into a computer. And the third type of advantage is called accuracy and error-freeness. So what is called accuracy? Accuracy in the sense doing the operations in an accurate way as well as in the error-free operation. So once a computer is given some instruction and it is going to execute the instruction, it can have error-free operations. Now go to the disadvantages. There are different disadvantages we are having. One is called a dependency. So what is called dependency? So a computer does not do its own operations by itself. So it want to depend upon any other person or any other being, so which is to be operated. And the one more disadvantage in the computer system is it is having the intelligence, no intelligence system. So what is called intelligence system? Intelligence nothing but doing or performing the actions what they are needed with the time interval. So these two are the lagging in the computer, dependency probability and as well as intelligence probability is not having as a basic idea in the computers. These two are missing. That is a these two can be if these two can be one of the advantage. So there is the other human is going to be developed. So now coming to the other part, that is use of the computers. So what are the different uses of the computers? So computers can be used in many places around us. So let us see some examples which can be used in the education system, that is to learning the new things as well as to developing to working with the new environments, and business environments, so where are using the business databases, a large collection of data and operating with the multiple users. And there is one more usage of the computers in the hospitality to maintain all the hospital database systems as well as to maintain all the patient records, etc. And one more advantage is or usage of the computer in the marketing, that is online or offline marketing, to communicate or to make a business with one-to-one or end-to-end operations. And the other way of use of the computer is at the communication sector, that is your emails or Facebooks or charts, etc. And coming to the final question in this topic, that is what is the full form of a computer? Just make it down or just remember, please try to remember as a computer student. So the full form, the basic form of a computer is, a computer is a common oriented machine, particularly united and used under technical and educational research. And what is called full form of the computer? So please try to remember, a computer is a common oriented machine, particularly united and used under technical and educational research. So it is called a computer. Okay. So let's go for the other scenario, which is our second or the other agenda for the today's section. We go for the second scenario, that is called history of the computers. So what is the basic history of the computer, and let us see how it is used and how they are being evaluated. So let us go for the history. So what is called the history of the computer? So in early years, when the computer is not designed or the computer is not evaluated, so we are using different mechanisms for calculations. So basically, the computer can be only initially they are used only for the calculation purpose, and when the computer is not evaluated, so calculations must be managed or be manipulated by the humans. So they are used to perform the calculations or mathematical expressions with the help of some other devices. And for doing such an operations, it takes more expensive, as well as it requires a number of years to have some training for the persons to do that mathematical operations. So finally, so what the solution we're going to have is, so we'll design a computer system, so which use it to reduce the manpower, as well as the reduce the trainings or the money or the other things which are used to operate the calculations. So what are the methods so which are used to have helped for designing the computer? So in earliest, the computer device, what are the before the computers are developed, what are the mechanisms used for the calculations or mathematical operations? Initially, the first mechanism, the first ancient mechanism which is used for doing the calculations are calistics. So what are calistics is, they are used to record the information with the help of manual calculations. So this is the small picture which is called a calistic. So which is used to do the all the arithmetic, that's called addition or subtraction operations, only addition and subtraction operations, which are used to send the information from one user to other user. And this is a very ancient technology. And later that there is the new advancement. Okay. Yes.
Screen share అవ్వట్లేదు సార్. Screen share అవ్వట్లేదు.
Okay, 1 second. So this is the picture of the talistics, which are used in the ancient calculation methods. And later on, after the talistics are evaluated, we are coming across to the next type of methodology, that is called abacus. So what is the abacus? It is one of the ancient technology or ancient method for calculations, which is called which we were used the mechanical devices to use to operate, and which are used to perform the arithmetic, or that's called mathematical calculations. And it was invented in around 2400 BC, and the Chinese has evaluated this type of methodology in the 500 BC. And here, what type of operations we are using is, only we can perform only plus and minus, that's called addition and subtraction operations. And later that there is a new technology or a new advancement became exist, that's called a slide rule technology. So here in the slide rule, what happens is, it is one of the method preciously having a popular at the year of 16th or 1600 1700 BC. And here we can perform all the multiplications, divisions, rootings, or logarithmic operations and trigonometric operations. So this is the structure of, this is a sample image how a slide rule will be. And what is the problem here is, we cannot perform the addition and subtraction operations. So we can do all the multiplications, divisions, or other methodologies, but we cannot perform addition and subtractions. And after this slide rule mechanism, so there is a one more calculation method we are the ancient people have followed. That's called arithmeter. So here it is one of the advanced calculating system. So which is developed or which is designed by the Thomas D. Colmer. So which is also called as a first commercial calculating machine. So here what we want to what is the advancement here is, we can perform all the 4 basic mathematical functions, that's called addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and which helped so many scientists to develop the new methodologies. And later on, a final structure of the calculating machine came into existence, that's called analytical engine. So which is the heart of our computer system, or which is the basic stone or foundation stone of a computer system. So this analytical engine, so which is to be designed by the one of our famous one of the famous scientists, who is called Charles Babbage, who is the inventor of the computer. So in the year 1834, so he spent around 34 years of time to design this analytical engine, and around 2000 designs are made and corrupted. So the final size of this analytical engine is 95 to 35 feet. It's around a room size structure. So it is one of the calculator, or it's one of the type of calculator, just like a calculator system. So which makes the computer to have a principle for the calculations. So finally, at the year 1834, so this abacus, or this final system analytical engine which came into existence. So finally, we have a small question, that is, what is the size? The first use of the computer. The first user word of the computer is in the year 1613. As the developer of the computer is working with the other calculation purposes. The word computer is already used in the year 1613, so which is so used for the computations. And similarly, the size of the first computer, it may be around a single room size. So we will see the next concepts in the later on classes. So hope an architecture system or in the world there is a every system want to make some architecture. Let us go for the human. We are having the architecture like head, body, hands, legs, etc. Similarly, for the cars we are having some doors or from glasses, etc. So what an architecture will use is architecture used to define the how the function or how the system will works. Let us go for the a computer. A computer is also having some architecture which is used to show how a computer will runs. So here the architecture of the computer is divided into two types, which can be called as a non-human architecture, one of the very advanced architecture what we are using now. Then the other one is called Harvard architecture. And among these two, so we will follow the first one, that's called a non-human architecture, so which plays a major role in our present computer environment or computer or laptop environment. So let us see what is called non-human architecture. So it is a one of the architecture developed by developed by the scientist named John von Neumann in the year 1945. So which is used to making as a basic principle in the present mainframe systems as well as the present PCs. So our present personal computers which are also using this non-human architecture. Let us see what is the architecture of this non-human non-human person. And here we are having we start with the input and followed with the memory component, followed with the processor. Once the processor is receiving this data or when the processor is fetching the information from the memory, it is given to the control unit. The control unit will controls all this memory component or data which is received from the memory component and passes to the ALU if any arithmetic or logical operations are to be done. Once the ALU is used to do the actions done by the CPU, it performs all the arithmetic, logic, shift, and other micro operations. Arithmetic in the sense addition, subtraction, etc. And finally, it stores the result again to the memory. So once the data is issued to the memory, it sends passes to the output. So this entire system or entire methodology can be called as a non-human architecture. Now, what are the components in that non-human architecture? The components inside the non-human architecture, one is called input. Already we have known the input devices are keyboards, mouse, monitors, etc. And coming to the memory, so the basic memory component inside any computer or any laptop or any mobile, it's called simply called as a memory components, or where we use the ROM or a RAM. So here the primary memory called RAM is used. Now coming to the processing, so processing can be done in two ways. One is called controlling and one is called arithmetic logic operations. So control unit, what is the task of control unit? The task of the control unit is used to control all the process inside the computer actions. So it is also be done with the help of a control unit. The control unit, that also control unit is used to just like act as a traffic police, which is used to manage all the traffic inside the computer. So traffic in the sense data transfer from one place to other place, or the action to be performed by the hardware components inside the computer. So here the memory system will generate all the data which is required. So this data is passes to the processing element which is called as a CPU. Inside the CPU, the central unit that's called control unit will do all the actions. Simply, it is used to act as a controller. And now let us go for the ALU. So what is the task of the ALU is, already I have said, it is used to do all the arithmetic, logic, and shift micro operations, or what's called micro operations. Micro operations is an operation which is in a micro format. It's called a small format or a small size. So operation in the sense the action or the task to be done. So all these actions or all the tasks to be done with the help of the data can be processed under ALU. So the task of ALU is to perform all the arithmetic or mathematic functions which is going to be executed. So basically it performs all the arithmetic subtractions, multiplications, divisions, etc. Now coming to the other component which is called as a output component. Already we have known what are called output components, which are used to display the outputs which are generated from the processor, that is from the processor to memory and memory to the outputs. So these are called some way we can call as hardware components also. So we'll discuss the hardware in the later. And coming to the example, so let us have an example of a non-human architecture. So here we are having the keyboard. A user enters the data in the keyboard with some example like 20 plus 20. Once the data is entered in the keyboard, it passes to the memory component and stores into the memory, and the processor will fetch the data, that is 20 or plus 20. So this data is fetched from the memory to the CU. Once the CU identifies that there is some arithmetic operation to do, that's called plus operation, it automatically passes information to the ALU. So ALU identifies that an addition is to be performed, and again the result is stored back to the CU. Now the CU, what the task of CU is, once the result is getting to CU, it passes back to the memory. So this is the final structure. Once the output is evaluated, so we can have a the final output in the monitor, that's called output devices. So this is called, this process is following some architecture, non-human architecture, that is an input unit, processing unit, and output unit. So this processing unit, nothing but CPU is a combination of control unit, memory unit, and arithmetic and logic unit. These three components, this central component can be called as a CPU. So the task of CPU is storing, processing, doing the operating. That's called operation, arithmetic or logical operations. So this is the task of the CPU. So this is an example of how a neural architecture works. So let us go for the one more simple question. What is the language a computer can understand? So a computer does not understand the text, images, videos. It only understands ones and zeros format. So what is called ones and zeros format? So it is called binary language. That's called zeros and ones, or which is simply called as a bit language. So 0 and 1 is called a bits. So these bits can be operated with the help of the computer. And what the computer will do, it converts all the text, images, videos, anything into the ones and zeros format, which is to be understood by themselves. So this is about our section today. So we will end the section for today's section. And if any questions, please ask me now. Students, you can unmute yourself and ask me now.